We could learn how to do so many things. We could like switch on to guys, right?
I think we've already pretty switched on to guys to begin with.
Hey,
Brunch.
hit it, boys. I have good news and bad news.
Hit me with the good news first.
I've only played this out in my mind as though I'm giving the bad news first. So what's your second choice there?
Give me the bad news.
Okay, so the bad news is I was recently in an accident. I'm okay. Just lost a couple teeth. It was this freak thing. All the power in the world went out. Nobody knows what happened, and they've stopped caring or trying to look up what happened or try to figure it out. And they've just moved on from that. That just like the grid everywhere went down for a second, and they were like, "That's okay. Let's just carry on."
Yeah, they moved on pretty quickly. The world has moved on pretty quickly. I'm sorry about your teeth.
That's okay. The good news is I've forgotten a few things, one of which was a very disappointing movie. I was going to say one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, come on.
So we're talking about yesterday. Yesterday, not a good movie. You got to stop doing this. Whenever one of us says that a movie's bad, stop saying better or worse than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
If we tweet in all caps, holy shit, I just saw the worst movie I've ever seen, including Bohemian Rhapsody, then you can ask better or worse than Bohemian Rhapsody, and the answer is still probably
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Better than Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody is on its own scale. It's on a level with The Snowman, but it's in a different place. The Snowman, we can explain
they're bad
why
for very, very different reasons.
Right.
Yeah, you absolutely cannot say that yesterday is an absolute piece of shit.
It's a piece of shit.
But it goes against. Well, you can't say that it's like the worst movie of all time because that goes against
No.
everything that we stand for and everything that we've preached years past, saying that things can be somewhere in the middle between very bad and very good.
I agree with that, and I will say that it's not like a piece of shit of the year type thing. It's not like a 2 out of 10. When I initially saw it, I thought like this is like a C. It's a low C. But the more I've thought about it since, it's got a bad aftertaste. Like, how do you feel since seeing it versus when you initially saw it?
I haven't thought about it again, which I think is probably a negative.
Not a good sign.
Right, but it hasn't gotten worse. I walked out of there thinking that I was somewhat disappointed, or actually, not somewhat disappointed. I was disappointed by it. I expected more. I didn't think that it was awful, but it didn't live up to my expectations.
This doesn't happen often, though, where we circle a movie and we're like, hell yeah, can't wait for this. This movie could have been our song of the summer. Mamma Mia
checks a lot of boxes.
Like a year and a half. We could have gotten so much. Now we've got to switch things up. We'll get to it. Now instead of talking about yesterday and watching that a million times, we're just going to become Build Your Ultimate Blank guys and just keep doing one of those every week, starting with probably like Build Your Ultimate Table. $5 for, like, I don't know. We're going to figure that out. But we could have gotten so much out of this, and the movie ended up being a disappointment.
It fell flat.
All right, so let's jump right into it. It's my big issue with it is it tried to do two things, or it told you it was doing two things, which was the Beatles storyline, which is everybody forgets the Beatles, Coca-Cola, and what else? And Oasis?
No, not Oasis. It was something else.
I think they forget Oasis.
Oh, really?
Because he looks up Oasis and there's nothing.
Huh. Oh, yeah, you're right.
There are a couple of more things that pop up, but what
cigarettes.
What amazing...
Cigarettes. This would be the worst.
Wait, they forget cigarettes?
Yeah, because he's like, I could really go for a cigarette right now. And then the other guy's like, what's a cigarette?
Oh, man.
This would be a terrible world for you to live in. No Beatles and no cigarettes.
No Beatles and no cigarettes.
Dave's true loves.
As the foremost non-smoking, but
maybe leaving the door open.
I see people smoking, and I'm like, I feel bad for this. Is a bad decision and everything, but
unless you're in Atlanta.
Atlanta, all bets are Atlanta. You have to smoke.
Yeah, Atlanta Dave rips butts.
you can't not smoke in Atlanta.
I smoked in Atlanta.
I think I probably
have
had
to
one
agree.
cigarette in my hand in my combined 2 trips to Atlanta in my life. But just between secondhand smoke and everything, like cigarettes happen when you go to Atlanta. So they forget the Beatles, cigarettes, Oasis, and Coca-Cola, which I can't tell if this is product placement for Coca-Cola or Pepsi, because they end up saying Coke and Pepsi equally enough.
Well, yeah,
They're equally the same.
Ellen asked me afterwards, and I hadn't thought about it before she asked me, but she said, "How much do you think Pepsi paid
So
for
is
it to be-"
Pepsi, we think?
Yeah, because they
Get rid of Coke.
Yeah, right. So Coke does not exist in the world of yesterday. And Ellen was like, she was like, they couldn't have made it Coke because we all live in a world where Pepsi doesn't exist.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah.
There's a big couple of weeks for product placement in movies. We didn't talk about it, but Murder Mystery overflowing with product placement.
I don't even remember what was in that
Are
movie.
you kidding? Claret and Allegra?
Oh, yeah, that's
like,
right,
The
yeah.
movie is built around
Yeah.
2
That's like a
allergy
major
medications.
plot point.
They never say, like, hey, is there... Can I get some... What do you have for allergy stuff? Not nary a mention of Zyrtec. Nothing generic.
Right.
Just nothing. And then there's something else, too. When he buys a gift card, is it an Apple gift card?
I'm not sure.
I forget. But when he's buying...
I think it's like an Amazon gift card or something.
I think it is an Amazon gift card because there was, I think, another thing in there that you see Amazon and you're like, okay, folks, relax. Unlike Murder Mystery, we didn't think that, or we thought that yesterday was going to be good. Quick side note on Murder Mystery. There is a new Murder Mystery coming out, and it looks better than Murder Mystery because Murder Mystery was like telling you it was a bad movie.
Right.
Murder on the Orient Express was very disappointing. But there's a guy, Ryan something. He wrote one of the Star Wars. He wrote a bunch of the Star Wars, directed one of the Star Wars. He's hot right now.
Ryan Johnson?
Yes, Ryan Johnson, because I
Yes.
remember thinking like the AC/DC guy, but that's Brian Johnson.
Or it's spelled Rian.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I always thought it was Rian.
Ooh, nice. Ryan, I hardly know him.
Knives Out, it's called.
And it comes out on Thanksgiving?
I do not know.
I was shown a trailer for it, and I remember at the end it was, oh, you know what? There are a lot of knives going on in the...
Yes, November 27th.
It looks awesome. It's got a great
Unbelievable cast, yeah.
Right. It's so who is it's Lakeith Stanfield, Michael Shannon.
That's a wild person to start with. I know you love Lakeith
I
Stanfield,
know.
but he's like the 8th billing on this
Those
roster.
are probably the 2 that I stand the most there. Lakeith Stanfield and Michael Shannon.
Yeah.
And
Chris
Jamie
Evans,
Lee Curtis.
Chris Evans, Daniel Craig, Lakeith Stanfield, Michael Shannon, Jamie Lee Curtis, Don Johnson, Catherine Langford, Christopher Plummer,
I'll tell you what.
Tony Collette. Tony Collette, I think, is very underrated.
Who is that? Related to Tyra?
Have you ever seen Hereditary?
No.
You've never seen Hereditary? It's
think
very fucked up, but
You think
yeah.
I'm going out watching Hereditary?
Probably not.
All right, gang.
To be honest.
Seems like a Hereditary night. Your place or mine. I'm not watching Hereditary.
She was in Little Miss Sunshine.
Didn't Hereditary have the jump scare that was in the trailers that I was going to write a letter? What was that?
No, that was The Nun.
Oh, The Nun.
Yeah.
Man, chaboy, stay pissed at The Nun.
I know.
I'm still can't sleep.
I'm so glad that The Nun was a piece of shit.
Did you see it?
No. But I've
Should-
heard that it was a piece of shit.
I would love for you to watch The Nun and
Tell you about it.
and explain it to me. I think I can't remember where are we at on like last movies explained to
Greta.
one another.
It was Greta.
And you hadn't seen it.
I
yet.
hadn't seen it. You saw Greta. You explained it to me. It was a wonderful episode.
Did you see it? Did you? End
I've
up
never.
seeing
I don't
Greta?
feel like I need to see it. I don't feel like I ever
Whoa.
need to see it.
I gotta say, I don't receive a lot of compliments, but people do say that when I
Some of the
when I
best
explain
episodes.
things to you, it's soothing.
It's
which
and it's very
I
very
assume
enjoyable.
I'm talking in circles or something. I assume it's a mess, but people say they like those.
No, I love it, and I especially
you
love
like
it.
because it saves you time.
I think that's why a lot of other people love it too, because it's very entertaining, and you feel like you've seen the movie, so you don't have to watch it.
You know what? I've been used in worse ways. I'm okay with being the hey, see this bad.
Hey, tell
movie.
me about this.
It's not like a dance monkey thing. It's a
Like here,
watch this
yeah.
movie.
Monkey.
Asshole. Yeah, right. Same thing. The one that I like most, I loved when you told me about Don't Breathe.
Okay.
I still, I was having heart palpitations that whole time.
That's
scariest episode we've ever done.
That movie's a tough undertaking to try to explain to people.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot that happens.
Man. And I can't remember any of the ones that we've done for each other. I enjoyed...
One of my favorites was Truth or Dare.
Yes, Truth or Dare.
No, not Truth or Dare. Would You Rather?
Would You Rather?
Yeah, that was great.
What was his name? Biggins or something? Bibbins? He was like a butler.
Baggins?
Something like that. He was like,
something like that.
This is my butler. He's just an innocent guy. And I'm like... He is jacked and is clearly ex-military. And then the twist is like, guess what he used to do? And I'm like, military stuff. Like, he did military stuff. Yeah, so maybe we'll get some of those on the books. But I feel like it's never forced, though. I feel like we never say, hey, you see this and explain it to me.
Right.
There was the time that we both saw 2 movies during the episode
and tried to
explain it to each other.
Didn't work out so well. That was in the early days, though.
Worked out differently than
planned. Yes.
It worked out differently than it being good. You described a fire movie. A house burns down. A car burns down?
Demolition.
A demolition movie.
Yes.
And I described the one where Adam Levine cheats on his girlfriend.
Sure.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Right. We want to talk about yesterday.
Let's. I was honestly hoping that we could start with yesterday talk. Drive around for a little bit and then come back to it. I feel like that's when the juices really get flowing. Because now here's what we've done. We were at the starting line for yesterday. We could have just put our foot on the gas and gone, but it would have taken a second to go from 0 to 40, which is us going really fast.
We sat down at an outdoor cafe, got a beer, and we're going to resume the route.
We did some loops, and now we got a full head of steam coming through to yesterday. So it had 2 things that it was trying to do. The kid is the only person, so we think, who remembers the Beatles songs, and he starts doing them from memory. Now, I know what you're asking.
Was his pitch perfect?
You were concerned about them glossing over perfect pitch. He did not remember the keys or the lyrics to the song, so at least that was authentic. At the end of the movie, he meets 2 people who also remember the Beatles, and they're like, yo, you botched being for the benefit of Mr. Kite. And so they are in the clear there. Issue is they only went 15% into that storyline, and then there was a lot of kind of mush around it. The other storyline is a love story between he and Lily James. They said, you know what? Going 15% in on storylines is pretty fun so far. Let's go 15% in on this one. So what you have is 2 bits of storylines.
Yeah,
and then Kate McKinnon and Ed Sheeran wasting our time the rest of it.
Yeah, so I was gonna cut you off, but I decided to be a gentleman and not say that. I was gonna say, yeah, they love going halfway in on storylines because right, because I mean it felt like they were way too ambitious with this, and they didn't focus on the things that really mattered. At the end of the day, the most prevailing storyline I would say is the romantic one between him and Lily James, and that's why I said after I saw the movie, it's really not much more than a romantic comedy. It doesn't explore any of the other areas deep enough to classify it as anything other than a romantic comedy with the twist being, hey, there's some Beatles in here.
So then they did a romantic comedy poorly is what I would contend.
Yes.
Because at least you could have done, hey, it's a musician, it's a girl, he goes on tour, they fall in love. I liked it the first time it was called La La Land. But hey, what are you going to do? I'll take that storyline all day. The issue is, you can't tell, what are they making this about? And they go 20 minutes without Lily James, and apparently this is eating up, eating them both up. But they just don't get together.
Right. It's
not like he's smashing on the side. They're not showing anything like that.
I know. It's very difficult to pin down why they're not dating in the beginning, or even if they really are. It's hard. You don't know who's really into the other one until 30 or 40 minutes into the movie.
You also don't know anything about either of these characters.
Or their backstory or whatever.
It starts with she's managing him, and she gets him a gig playing at a festival where he meets the dumbest person alive, who is for some reason Michael Kiwanuka's head roadie and ruining everything.
By the way, that guy's the best person in this movie.
The idiot?
He rules, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Give
Yeah.
me that guy at least.
Right.
You know what? They probably...
I want a spin-off of that guy being a roadie.
Give me that guy. They did give me that guy. Probably as much as they gave me Lily James. And this isn't just, obviously, like, on our like... We won't say Mount Rushmore because we've got a lot of people that we absolutely stan on this show.
I'll tell you.
Lily James is right there on.
If I have a pedestal, Lily James is standing on it. She is like the queen for me.
Right. I mean, hasn't been in anything bad.
Well, hasn't really been in anything. Period, other than like Mamma Mia 2 and Baby Driver.
That's the thing. She's so good in Baby Driver that like when I ask people about Lily James, as I often do, Baby Driver is what I lean with, and then the response is like, "Oh, she's great."
Oh,
Right?
really?
Yeah.
I feel like most people that I talk to don't even know who she is.
Man, when she walks in, and she's singing,
she walks in a room,
B-A-B-Y, baby, it just lights up Ansel Eggcort's life and also mine. We're continuing to still drive around, which is good. We're just going to, throughout this, we're generally going to be talking about yesterday.
I mean,
so
this is how this
relax.
podcast works. You know the deal. What are you explaining this for?
I do find it funny when we get like, hey, just started listening to brunch, and like, here's my takeaway. I'm like, ooh, man, you don't even know what the takeaway is yet.
But my thing is, like, there are a lot of people who say that they just started listening to the podcast, and there aren't really like a lot of complaints or like, hey, why do you guys do this? It's just like sort of like
That's
people
true.
get adjusted on their own, which is
interesting.
surprising.
Yeah, I mean, we had OGs who heard the first episode where the only thing that we knew going into it was that we weren't going to say, welcome to this podcast.
That was literally the one thing.
I'm DJ, that's Pete, and here we go. Pete, if you don't mind, why don't you tell them what we've got on deck today? Like, we weren't going to do any of that because we were the only two people who knew, like 3-4 years ago, whatever, that when somebody presses play on something, they know what they're listening to.
Right, yeah.
Podcasts for the longest time, people thought was a radio show where like every 5 minutes they'd be like, again, you are listening to brunch on your phone.
You chose it and you got here.
Right.
It wasn't an accident. Have we ever done the thing where
It did lead to the confusion of people saying like, man, DJ, or like Pete had the stupidest take today, and I would look at it and I'd be like,
that's my take.
Yeah, Pete.
There's a lot of misplaced blame. Have we ever done the thing where it's, hey, I'm Deej, and...
Oh, and I'm Pete.
Yes. Have we done that? I know we discussed it. Just to fuck with people.
We should set people up and say, if you've never listened to brunch before...
Here's a good place to start.
Listen to this episode.
Our next episode should be like throwing people off the scent.
Right.
Throwing new listeners off the scent.
Think that we can trick old listeners?
Maybe. Depends on how dedicated
to find out.
Right. Tune in next week.
It depends on how well we sell it.
Yeah.
If I'm like, okay, I'm Pete. You're like, doesn't sound like someone who thinks he's not Pete.
It's like a BuzzFeed quiz. How well do you really know the podcast?
We are going to have a wonderful summer of building ultimate things, asking how well you know things, and it would just like legitimately be like, who is this? And it's a picture of me. And then you say, I think it's DJ. And it's like, are you sure?
Final answer?
Because we're giving you another option. It could be, is it Pete? And then people are going to get...
I got to give a little shout out to the Brunch Out of Context Twitter account. I know you don't like that. I know, like, I don't know.
No, I don't not like that.
I know you don't like the idea of things like that. Where
I don't like stuff about us.
You don't like people listening to the podcast.
Yeah, I feel that I've been a driving force in making sure we've kept that number low. I'm proud of that.
Keeping it in the comfort zone. Yes. I got to give a quick shout out to the Brunch Out of Context account. One, because like they're constantly updating that stuff, listening to Brunch more than anybody in the world, and it's always like really good lines, and they pick and choose really well. I also have to give them a shout out because most of those lines, I have no idea where they came from.
I see them retweeted. Do you know who said them ever?
Sometimes yes, but a lot of the times no.
The only time I know is when I say that sounds like something I would say, but I don't know that I said it.
But literally, like anything that sounds like something you could say could come from either one of us on this podcast.
That's true. I have ruined you.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah, This has been a good little stretch of keeping numbers low, keeping people unhappy. Let's keep people unhappy with some more yesterday talk.
Yes, but before that, let's pay some bills.
Ooh, is there somebody who Katie Nolan does it? I was going to say, does anybody sing their ads?
Yes, Katie Nolan does.
Because we could have said,
But
hey,
you did it first.
Did I?
Yeah.
Give
a little bit. Give a little bit of your eyes to me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, let me see. Let's see. This is a tribute to the Beatles and Katie Nolan. I think it says talking points and make it your own words. Definitely can't do that. So I'm just going to read this word for word.
Okay.
Hey, maybe we can get this onto the Building Your Ultimate brunch thing.
Losing a sponsor?
Care of is a subscription service that delivers vitamins and supplements customized for your specific health needs. You can take a short quiz and answer questions about your diet, lifestyle, fitness, and health goals. And Care of puts together a personalized plan just for you with summer approaching. Make health and wellness a priority again. I ran out of breath. Care of makes it easy to upgrade your health routine. Give yourself support this season with a boost. Whether you're looking for energy, better sleep, to maintain stress, or something else to help you feel your healthiest. What other Beatles song could we do? This part's going to be about Care of's online quiz.
Yellow Submarine.
Care of's fun online quiz asks about your diet, your health goals, and lifestyle choices, and it only takes 5 minutes. Hey, you answer questions like how much you sleep. This is so hard to read. If you're looking for more energy, do you need something management, healthy care, skin and nails? It gets personalized. It can be really hard to know what vitamins or supplements you should be taking, but Care of makes it easy to find out what you specifically need to be your healthiest. Care of, I'm simultaneously reading and thinking of easy Beatles songs to make about Care of.
And you're clearly not doing either one
Care
well.
of delivers daily vitamin and supplement packs, all customized to your recommendation, so you're only taking what you really need. Depending on your personalized Care of plan, you'll get daily vitamin packs or protein powders sent right to your door. It's so cute and customized. The packets even say your name on them. You can modify your subscription at any time when your needs or preferences change. I gotta tell you, this is a super long read.
Yeah.
It doesn't help to sing it.
I mean, I thought it helped.
This is, let's see. Experience the Care of difference. Care of makes sure what you're putting into your body comes from the best sources, backed by honest guidance and transparency, all available to you on their website. Care of now, let me see.
This was the point in time where I would start playing you off.
Protein powders available in individual packets on the go tubs. All personalized to your fitness goals, and this is I'm like a third of the way through this.
No,
Even
you're
if
not.
I had been
Come on.
speed reading this. God, Care of. This is the longest read. Individually wrapped vitamin packets are now made from compostable plant-based film that meets the same safety standards, so your vitamins are kept fresh while now being better for the environment. Vegan and vegetarian supplement options available to match your dietary needs to ensure you're getting the nutrients you need for those specific diets. Now I get to the execution requirements. I didn't have to do the last 40 minutes weren't part of this. Okay. Oh, God, I gotta do. Okay.
No, see,
I did those. Okay,
Yes.
it's saying that I had to do those. All right. It's fun and easy, and the quiz is your experience taking it. It's fun. It's convenient. You get individual packets. For 25% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter brunch. That's takecareof.com and enter brunch. I enjoyed this read as much as I enjoyed yesterday.
Ooh, wow.
That's...
I mean, we're trying to run a business here. It's not going well, and I mean, I thought that you started off real hot. I liked the music. I could tell you were getting prouder of yourself as you went on.
I was getting annoyed with it. I was like, this was a bad decision. This is going to take. It was probably faster to sing it because at least I was singing and having fun.
At least you didn't fall asleep.
Right.
So
I am very pro care of though. I just wasn't pro the last few minutes.
All right,
and that was like 10 minutes.
Trim the fat. Not that we're fat shaming care of here, but like
care of. Let's.
We're worried about your health.
Slim it down.
Yes. It's not like a.
Let's just make healthy.
You're beautiful
choices.
the way you are,
Let's
but
make
like
better choices.
Right, but I want to see you succeed and have a happy, healthy future.
Hey, take the care of challenge. They're going to make it better, so you make things better by using care of.
Take a sad song,
make it better.
Make it better.
Nice. I could have done that.
Was that a sad song?
Listeners, let us know how you feel about the song choices. Tomorrow Never Knows may have been a little out of left field, but that's my favorite Beatles song.
We mentioned Ed Sheeran. A lot of them in this movie. Way more of them than I expected. But honestly, I didn't think that he was that bad in this movie. I'll say if there's a power rankings of worst people in this movie, Kate McKinnon is way at the top. I'm ready to say it. I'm ready to put this take out there. I am sick of Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon is experiencing Hannibal Buress syndrome.
She's being used for the same things over and over again.
What's our plan here?
Right.
What's our plan? Because I'll tell you, I like her and she's funny, but you're giving me a lot of the same stuff over and over again, and I'm wondering, do you think she can't do more, or can she not do more? I think it's I think it's the former. I think that Kate McKinnon could hold her own in like a B-level movie if she's playing something that isn't the same thing she's played over and over again.
Yeah.
They may as well have tossed the Australian accent on her to do it like Kate, like bad, sick of Kate McKinnon overkill.
Yeah, and I very much have Kate McKinnon fatigue, and that's not a something like against Kate McKinnon, honestly, because I like Kate McKinnon. I just don't need the exact same thing from her in everything that she's in.
Yes.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, do more with her. I'll say this about Ed Sheeran. People laughed in my theater when he said the "Hey Dude" thing. I was ready to punch. That's why That's why I keep. Like,
you had to know that was coming, though.
That people were going to laugh.
Yes.
Why do I believe in people?
Right.
Why do I?
It's your mistake.
Yeah. Did people laugh in your theater?
Yeah, I got a few laughs. Like it wasn't like people weren't howling or anything.
I was about to use the word. I'm pretty sure howling.
No way.
I think that people were like old people were howling.
No, there were a few chuckles spread throughout the theater, but people didn't go overboard with it. I was very happy about that.
Here's the bigger Ed Sheeran issue. There's an awkward scene where Ed Sheeran is getting he invites what's the character's name? What's the main character's name? Jack, yeah. Jack Malik.
Yeah.
Right? Or is that from a
No,
different
that's
movie?
correct.
Jack. He invites Jack to open for him on tour. And after everyone's saying, "Hey, we love these songs this guy's writing," Ed Sheeran's getting a little pissy. So he says, "Okay, 10 minutes. Everybody goes away. Everybody go your own directions.
Yeah,
you have 10 minutes to write a song. Then we reconvene, play it, and we see who the audience likes more." I do like that unintentionally, because I don't think Ed Sheeran wrote this movie, but that does harken back to Ed Sheeran's battle rap days of the what do you like more by round of applause, by sound, give it up. Ed Sheeran comes out, plays probably what would be like the best Ed Sheeran song I've heard in the last 5 years. Like better than anything on any of his last two albums. I'm like, yo, Ed, do that. Right? It was so good. It was like, we're all just penguins trying not to slip. I was like, I'm trying not to slip on my tears right now, Ed.
Right. Did I get in an accident that made me forget this song that was by Ed Sheeran?
Yo, like Ed Sheeran had the best song in that movie, and that was a Beatles movie. So he comes out, knocks my socks off. Really, I'd forgotten that Ed Sheeran had that in him because he'd been, he's taking the Maroon 5 approach.
He's gotten comfortable.
Yes. He's gotten comfortable. It's a good way of putting it. So he does this just fantastic little number that I wouldn't have even given Jack a chance to play his song after. And what is Jack plays The Long and Winding Road.
Yeah.
Which is, it goes back and forth of like, is Jack a seedy dude? Again, you never really get to know this guy, but in that moment you're like, yo, Jack, that's some bullshit. So he plays A Long and Winding Road. Everybody's crying. And then Ed Sheeran says after, well, okay, no.
We're not even voting.
We're not even voting. That was amazing. And he had started this as like a combative thing. He had malicious intent.
He was jealous.
Right. So he says, they always told me that one day I would meet a better songwriter than me, and today I have.
Right.
Jack, you are incredible.
Does Father John Misty not exist in this universe?
Oh, I like that. We should have just been there that movie.
Right? just two guys in the back just roasting Ed Sheeran at any given point.
Yo, Ed Sheeran, that last song ruled. You fucking suck, bro. Yeah. Does Father John Misty not exist in that universe? I would say, like, what is Ed supposed to be playing in this movie? Because he does not say this. This is not like a tongue-in-cheek, hey, dude kind of part. He is saying this seriously.
Right.
He's saying, I have finally met my match. I've met a better songwriter than me. I'm like, yo, Ed, we all saw when you were on the Grammys and you were playing with, like, Jeff Lynne. We saw when John Mayer was filling in for David Letterman and you guys played Don't together. It was delightful. We have to assume you met those people when you played with them. Like, you have for sure met better songwriters than you. You've got an awesome voice.
Maybe he just has no self-awareness.
But was he playing like a bad version of himself? Because that's the only time in the movie that they made it seem like Ed Sheeran.
So what do you want,
like
an
asshole?
So what do you want, like Ed Sheeran to push back and be like, I don't know, I'm not comfortable saying this?
When he said that, there needed to be a Greek chorus. There needed to be somebody there that was like, debatable. Or somebody that was like,
that was like
no one considers you like the best.
Yeah, that was my
that
was my takeaway. Like that of all the complaints that I could have about this movie, just like pretending like Ed Sheeran is the peak of songwriting in music, that was a little weird.
And Ed Sheeran's great songwriter.
Maybe this is just a very deeply British 2019 movie.
Also, maybe just like very few people exist. All we know we only know from when he Googles stuff or when people say cigarettes don't exist that those things don't exist.
Right.
So we think it's a world where like 4 things don't exist, but maybe like all musical artists just don't exist. He could have been doing a whole lot. Like he could have come out and been Kanye instead, and the audience probably would have felt it more. That's another issue I have with the movie. He's singing them in lower keys. The arrangements aren't very like. What did you think? Did the music sound particularly good to you?
It was fine. Yeah.
Right. So I don't think that it's believable that even with Beatles songs, that if the Beatles never existed, someone came out right now with Beatles songs and sang them passable.
I wrote that down in my notes, and I said, would the songs even be that popular, especially in 2019?
I don't think so.
You can erase. I'm sure like a good portion of musicians got wiped out, whatever, by that thing. But like even still, a lot of the Beatles music doesn't really translate to being like super popular in 2019.
Case in point, Paul McCartney tours and it gets sold out, but it gets sold out by people like me and old people.
Right.
Like if Paul McCartney still comes out with music and people don't feel it.
And they go so far over the top with like, this is the biggest fuck. And I know that they did it because the Beatles were that back in the day, but like they make Jack Malek like the biggest star in the world and go so far over the top with like his stardom where like he's throwing fucking parties just for people to hear his songs and stuff like, and like debuting his album is like this monumental event being covered by like the news and shit. Like they went so far over the top. Like they didn't make it a authentic like musical journey sort of, or
Definitely
whatever you want to
not.
call it. And that took me out of it a little bit.
And the Beatles came up and blew up when nothing like them existed.
Right.
Everything that you have heard in the last million
derivative
years
of the Beatles
is taken from the Beatles, like including Ed Sheeran. So I'm sure that I'm sure that some people would hear some Beatles songs and be like, sounds a little like Father John Misty or something like that. And it's like just because some of the chord changes were lifted from the Beatles. So.
I also wrote down, I think I might be more interested in this movie if it was a movie about like the Beatles songs being used and them not being that popular. Like that would be a way cooler premise where like he tries to steal the Beatles songs and just like nobody really gives
it's
a
like
shit.
A sign of the times.
Yeah,
absolutely. That would be way better. And then you got Lily James, trying to make them big because she would be the person that believes in them.
There was a touch of that when he was like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I just suck.
Oh right, yeah.
And like there is like a tiny bit of that, but man, I think that would present a lot more of like a introspective, like smart movie that is worthy of like thinking about, rather than a very like average romantic comedy.
I'll tell you, I got roast. So the day I saw yesterday, I was bummed. Because I really wanted it to be good. I wanted it to be this year's Mamma Mia, and my guy Michael Hawley has been roasting me because he was like, "You saw that trailer and you thought that was good. That wasn't like the most absurd, stupid movie you'd ever see."
It did look like a little absurd, but it looked cute. Like it looked like a cute way of doing like, hey, let's listen to some Beatles.
How is it not going to be
there's
cute?
the Beatles. There's Lily James. It looks pretty cute. Ed Sheeran makes an appearance. Like I'm in on a lot of these things.
I do. It was kind of cute at points, but I wouldn't call it particularly cute. I wouldn't call it particularly charming.
It's not cute enough. It doesn't like hit enough on enough of like the categories. It's not cute enough. It's not smart enough.
Definitely not smart enough.
It's not like creative enough. It's not authentic enough. It doesn't go there on any of the categories.
I'll tell you, more so than any of those. Like, it is legitimately more weird than it is cute, and that's a problem. Like this is a weird movie.
In what sense?
That he goes and that we'll talk about the big one, that he goes and he realizes, okay, the Beatles never existed, but did the members of the Beatles exist? And somebody helps him track down which member of the Beatles. Is it the good guy that's still alive? Is it the kind of dopey guy that's still alive? Is it the guy that was always searching for peace of mind? Or he finds the guy that was always beating up women. Yeah, that's it. He was like, I gotta find John Lennon.
Damn, I hate that you, like, it honestly seems like you glazed over my list of notes before doing this podcast.
We've melted into one.
I wrote down, the John Lennon scene was weird. I wanted to scream, do you still beat your wife in this universe?
Yeah. Hey, buddy, he's like, they're talking and he's trying to catch up on him and see what kind of life he's leading. And John Lennon's like, if you'll just give me 1 second, I'm going to go away for a few minutes. And he's like, where's he going? He's not, the cigarettes don't exist. He should be, if he remembers the Beatles, he'd be like, he's probably going to like hit a woman or something or do something terrible because he's an awful dude.
And to make that decision, especially in cancel culture, like in 2019, a very weird decision, especially when two of the Beatles are still alive. Like, I get why they did it to raise that question. Mm-hmm. Could have done George.
Yo, I was... What did I say? I said, what were the betting odds on Paul and Ringo being in the movie?
Yeah.
I still don't know how odds work, but you would get, if you bet on Paul and Ringo being in the movie, you'd make back less, right?
Yes.
You would think that they're probably in the movie.
Yeah.
They were not, but a fake John Lennon is in it. And again,
they knew what they were doing. Like, they wanted it to be a twist. And like, they show the back of him and it makes you wonder, and I was like, oh, that's probably Paul. And then he turns around and it's fucking John Lennon. You're like, what the hell?
And it was that scene that made my blood boil. Let's see if you can. So a lot of things irk me, so I guess we can't really narrow this. I was gonna see if you can guess what about that scene made me so mad, but this is high on my list of things that piss me off, and they went there.
I don't know.
They acknowledged the John Lennon quote that John Lennon never said.
Oh, man.
They did the, like, do you want to be happy or do you want to be successful? So there's that fake new listeners. That's stupid. It goes around like once every 3 months. It's a meme and it's a picture and it's all artful and it says, it's a quote from John Lennon that's, when I was in school, a teacher said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be happy. And she said, you don't understand the question. And I said, you don't understand life. He never said that. That's a fake. That was like the beginning of people just making shit up on the internet to get retweets and points and clicks and shit like that. He never said that. This movie doesn't apparently know that, which is such a basic thing. Like, I would say half the people who see that quote know that he never said it.
But that seems perfect. That seems perfect for this movie because it seems like
somebody. A bad job.
And it seems like somebody wants to make a movie about the Beatles without doing a lot of research on the Beatles.
Yeah, I'll say it doesn't.
Or a lot of research
it doesn't
anywhere.
lean into really anything on the Beatles. So He says to him, John Lennon's living out on a farm, and he says, and Jack asks him, "Are you successful?" And he says, "I'm happy." And he says, "Well, are you successful?" And he said, "I just told you I'm happy." And I said, "Boom! I know what you're trying to get at. He never said that, man." And then everyone got mad at me in the theater. And I'm like, not my fault.
Like, hey, I'm the best part of this
I'm the
shitty
victim
movie.
here. Right, yeah. Like, yo, you guys should be so lucky to hear me screaming shit during this.
While you couldn't have bet on which member of the Beatles would show up in this movie, you can bet at betonline.ag. You like that?
Online, though?
Can you do that online? Yes, because it's called betonline.ag.
Wow, it's
Just
take the better to you.
Yes. Yeah, if you want to bet on sports or other things that you can bet on, maybe which dead member of the Beatles will show up in a future movie. There's plenty of movies coming out. I would love to see John Lennon continue to make appearances and boast that IMDb page all over the place. You can do it at betonline.ag. Because you are a loyal listener of this podcast and CLNS Media, we're going to give you an extra 50% added onto your sports betting bankroll when you go to clnsmedia.com/betonbrunch. This is a very confusing read. It's all over the place. We're having a lot of trouble with these reads.
Not all our fault.
betonline.ag. You're going to need to make a minimum deposit of $25 to qualify for the bonus, but you're getting 50% added on to that bonus at clnsmedia.com/betonbrunch, and you got to use the promo code CLNS50. The best part is the bonus will be added onto your balance within seconds, so you can support this podcast by going to clnsmedia.com/betonbrunch and using promo code CLNS50. You like to bet, we like to bet. Bet with betonline.ag. Help the podcast. Get a little extra cash for yourself, for your degenerate self, and yeah. So please see on BetOnline's general rules for additional terms and conditions regarding the bonuses. But get out there and have some fun.
Let's round out the yesterday talk with someone asked, just plain and simple, but is it worth seeing? I'm the wrong guy to ask. Like we see everything. So I'm
yeah.
I didn't walk out. I was very upset clearly that it wasn't as good a movie as I wanted it to be, and it wasn't a good movie. But what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, I guess
go to the movies, man.
There's got to be like conditions on that question. Like how often you go to the movies, or like are you seeing it over something else?
Oh,
like,
true.
Like
don't see it over Toy Story.
Don't see it over Toy Story. Don't see it over
Aladdin even.
Aladdin's not in theaters anymore, is it?
Really?
Yeah, Spider-Man comes out today. I'm going to go see that tonight.
Oh.
I've heard really good things. What else is out there? But, I mean, pretty much anything. I'd say if you don't really want to see this movie, there's probably something else that you'll enjoy more.
True. They're also coming out with a Bruce Springsteen movie, so it continues. They keep rolling them out. Lena, I joked about a Billy Joel movie being next. Lena commented saying, "I'm dying," with a laughing face, trying to rope her into maybe writing that movie. No response yet from Lena, but we will keep you posted on that.
Wonderful. Final yesterday thoughts. Got any?
No, I thought we rounded them out by saying it's worth seeing, but it's not that good.
Yeah, so
it's bad.
I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm going to say that I was disappointed. It wasn't great. It was a average or maybe slightly tad above average romantic comedy.
Oh, no way. That was
there's a lot of bad romantic comedies.
Right, but they still follow the romantic comedy thing. Like you're squeezing this into romantic comedy for lack of anywhere else to put it because it's such a blah movie.
I suppose,
but you can watch it better. You can easily find a better romantic comedy than that.
Sure, but I think that this one checks off enough boxes for me for interest wise to say that like I'd probably watch it again. And
I'll probably have it on the background.
Yeah, and
it's a stupid movie though.
It is a stupid movie. It's a very stupid movie. So
stupid, weird, not very good.
That's good enough. I had a take today online. It's actually a take that I've sat on for quite a while.
Festering for years now.
We've got a group chat, and I've put it out there a few times. And generally it's been agreed upon that like it's a fine, fair take.
I think if you don't I've voiced this to people, and I've not found one disagreement. If you disagree with this, in fact, I would say you are nuts.
Okay, so here is my take. I gotta find it. It will never not make me mad when someone does a food review and rates something after like 2 chews. That's not how food works, you phony.
Yes, when people they'll bite into something, and as they bite into it, they do like a or that. Here's how we've definitely said this on the podcast because I can hear myself like repeating words, but we do this, so whatever. This is how eating food and reacting to it goes. You eat it, you finish it, you go to the mall or something, and like an hour and a half later, you think like,
damn, that was a good sandwich.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That was a good sandwich.
Yeah, but not even that. Like even with just this tweet that I sent out, take a bite, take even one bite, take one bite, finish that one bite. You can properly score that food. You take one bite and you take 1 or 2 chews of that thing.
Swallow the damn food.
Like at least like get a couple of bites. Get it on one side, get it on the other side.
You don't know what the aftertaste is going to be like.
So here's the thing. Like this tweet got picked up by Portnoy, Dave Portnoy.
I didn't realize when you saw it. I totally agreed. I was like, yeah, this is.
He quote tweeted.
Correct. Now that you say it, because you keep saying one bite, I understand why people thought you were talking about Portnoy.
Well, I kind of was because I was inspired to send that tweet because his latest pizza review, he takes one bite, does like 2 chomps, and it's like, oh, good. And I was like, that reminded me I've had this take before. I'm going to send it out now. So he was the inspiration behind this one, but it was not an overall criticism of like the one bite pizza reviews because usually he obviously takes more than one bite, and even if he did take one bite, he finishes the bite before giving his thoughts.
I would basically say that's a shot of everybody on Instagram when they're eating food that does that. Everybody. They'll like take a sip of something and they'll be like, oh, man.
Like before it even hits the back of your throat.
Right.
You're like, oh, wow.
I did recently do that. It was by myself, though, and I took note of, like, this is particularly amazing. I went to Treehouse Brewing Co. recently, and I just picked up a bunch of stuff, and Green and Julius are, like, their 2 really good ones, and I was just having a nightcap, I poured a nice little Julius, and like as soon as that hits your taste buds, you basically fall over. You're like, it is unfair that something tastes this good. But that is a rare exception. People do it regularly with sandwiches, with drinks, with pizza, whatever. The Portnoy thing, I'm more indifferent on because, like you said, he's taking more than one bite and the whole thing's a joke anyway. I don't really care about that.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that at all. And I really enjoy the pizza reviews because they're very entertaining. It was not a specific thing meant to him, but it was. He quote tweeted with "at me next time," and of course now the Barstool Hive has been coming at me all day, being
That's
like,
nice of him, though.
What?
That's nice of him to like you know he's,
relative
like,
to Portnoy.
Yeah, right.
yeah. But again, like it's baffling.
No, I'm not saying no. He normally do something mean. I'm saying like he like Twitter wise and stuff that he did that.
A lot of eyes.
That helps you. Right.
A lot of eyes.
You're getting eyes.
But it's literally baffling to me how many people like do not understand, or maybe they just didn't read it closely enough, but don't understand the difference between one bite and one chew, or like 2 bites and 2 chews. A chew is much different than a bite. A bite has several chews.
A bite leads to a chew.
Right. A bite leads to several chews.
Right. Unless you're a monster.
Right.
I see sometimes monsters will just like eat a person, and like I see like Godzilla movies,
and right down the gullet,
right down the hatch.
Yes,
down the hatch. I got another food take. I was going to tweet it last night, but there's just no way of phrasing it. It's so basic and stupid. But man, when you're hungry and you eat food, my goodness, so good. I was super hungry last night, and I ate. And I was in heaven.
We may have to edit that one out of the podcast. It's just way too controversial.
There's no.
That's like that reminds me of
y'all feel me though.
That reminds me of the Lollapalooza take. Just isn't peeing awesome?
Yeah. Peeing's a good. Yeah. What a sense of relief. Like yes. Literally.
I think our exact take was that peeing when you have to pee really bad and you actually pee, it's better than coming.
Oh, I remember. I
Having a pee.
I sat that takeout. I was like, I'm just absolutely not touching this one. Do you see Randy's thing at Stranger Things? Randy worked the red carpet at Stranger Things.
I did see that.
And it was amazing. I hate when I see somebody do something that I feel I should have thought of. He interviewed everybody on the Stranger Things red carpet, and he ended every interview with, "Thank you very much, I love you." And then hugged them.
So perfectly on brand for Randy.
It was so like I liked that because I think that everybody follows Randy, and like if they watch Stranger Things, they follow Randy on social media and stuff, so they get a glimpse of him. But just like a long stretch of unfiltered Randy,
right?
Nothing better. Randy was also a little pissed. I left him off my ultimate. My initial ultimate build your brunch thing. If you haven't seen, somebody did make a build your ultimate brunch episode with $10, and it's great. I would.
Anything you would add to that?
I thought that there were good options.
I thought they were very good, but one thing that I would add,
I would have made Lena more expensive. I don't know at whose cost, but like Lena's either $5 or $4. I don't know who gets bumped down there.
Who is 5?
5 was Misty.
Okay.
People who don't listen to the podcast said they loved that. Just mainly that that there was multiple Father John Misties. I was like, oh man, this started with us building an entire anecdotal Father John Misty board.
One thing that I would have added to that board was saying that we're gonna do something and that we don't do it, and then that would have been perfect because we said that we were going to build a build your ultimate brunch thing, and we didn't end up build it. And somebody else did. The
one thing that was holding me back from building that is that I was like, it's going to be a lot of Photoshop, and I'm going to want to make it. I got 2 speeds. I can't do something that's just like
ugly.
That's just ugly. Like I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to spend like 9 hours on it that I don't have. But here's what we'll come up with: some sort of template, and we'll just do these until it doesn't get fun anymore. But I feel like that you can come up with some good ones there. And
we can get some length out of this.
Bad topics.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We're gonna pick bad topics.
Of course.
So, thank you. I love you.
Mm-hmm. Before we end this episode, I want you to have a listening party.
Oh, right.
A world premiere of Jeremy Renner's new song, which came out this week. That's Jeremy Renner from the Avengers universe. He plays Hawkeye. He's got a new song. I definitely want you to hear it. You haven't listened to it yet. I have. I'll save my thoughts for afterwards. So here it is. This is Heaven Don't Have a Name by Jeremy Renner.
Oh, this is so good. See what I did? The food thing. Imagine wanting to sound like Florida Georgia Line. Yo, so this is like if Florida Georgia Line. It's Florida Georgia Line, but the members. Well, now this is what does the fox say? But this is.
I think this might be like a remix here. But you got the gist of it.
That is Florida Georgia Line if the members of Florida Georgia Line are Nick Jonas and Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, that right there is if your dad from like the 1970s got like won the lottery, won like $150 million, and was like, I'm gonna be a rock star.
What's the guy? I can never remember his name. He's boy Julianne Moore to me. He's the guy in I Think You Should Leave. Call something not Colin. I want to say Colin Malone. But that's the guy from the Decemberists. Connor O'Malley.
Sure.
I always forget Connor O'Malley's name. Is that his name?
I don't know. I have no idea who you're talking about. No.
Good. That makes me feel better. Okay.
Yeah. No. This is. I'm going to go to rock band fantasy camp and make a song, and I'm going to try and make it sound like as much like the Imagine Dragons as I can.
I told you I went to rock band camp when I was a kid, right?
Yeah, and you said it ruled.
It was the best.
Big time
I want
nerd.
to bring that back. Yo, here's what I'm trying to do. Luke Bonner does... Luke Bonner, basketball player, retired now, so he does sports stuff with us. And he does basketball camps. And I asked him, I was like, yo, have you ever done like an adult basketball camp? I didn't know that there's such thing as that. But I was like, if you did like an adult basketball camp for people who don't play basketball or aren't very good at basketball, like we want to do, I would love if Billy Jaffe put on just like a casual hockey camp, I would for sure go to that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And basically, Luke said no, but I want to get him to do a basketball camp that's basically like fantasy camp for adults, and it's like a day thing, and you can drink beer and learn how to play basketball. How cool would that be?
The drinking beer thing might have to come after you learn how to play basketball, but I like the idea overall.
We could learn how to do so many things. We could like switch on to guys. Right?
I think we've already pretty switched on to guys to begin with.
Hey!
She's got voodoo that will make you believe. Oh, she tastes like lipstick and Tanqueray. All I remember, she grew up in Atlanta, but she moved to the Bay. An uptown beauty you can never escape. Heaven don't have a name. She keeps it old school. Feels like rock and roll, but got that new groove. So unpredictable, I gotta tell you, I'll never be the same. Heaven don't have a name. I hear they call her danger, just looking for a cheap shot. She'll always be a stranger, dancing to the jukebox. All I remember, she grew up in Atlanta, but she moved to the Bay. An uptown beauty you can never escape. Heaven don't have a name. She keeps it old school. Feels like rock and roll, but got that new groove. So unpredictable, I gotta tell you, I'll never be the same. Heaven don't have a name. 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 Call her what you want, but she's no liar. No. You can pray for love to give you fire. Keep it old school. Throws on Billie Jean, cause she ain't no fool. She can be my beauty queen, I gotta tell you, I'll never be the same.